Today, we live in a pluralist society, a society full of organizations including the family, the church, religious institutions, government, non-government organizations. All these organizations have a purpose. They are set up with a specific purpose to serve either the public or a specific group of people. However, these organizations must be managed. And management has been with us for thousands of years. It can only be seen as far back as the times of the Egyptian pyramids, the Roman Empire, the Chinese dynasties. All these management was being practiced. And throughout the times until the period of the Industrial Revolution, we can say there was a degree of management in society. However, the form of management we see today as a subject as tending towards science does not start until the period of the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. So management starts as a result of the change in the nature of society. Until the Industrial Revolution, most people lived off subsistence farming. They produced for self-consumption. There was no need for serious management as we know it today. With the Industrial Revolution, people getting out of agriculture to go and work in factories as they opened, the need for management became important. So management is a recent subject. In fact, the formalization of the concept of management dates as far back as the 1940s, following the work of Frederick Taylor and some of the things that happened with mass production in the United States. So our interest in management is very important because it has come to serve a very important purpose of enabling the achievement of organizational goals, but not only enabling them, but doing it in an efficient, in an effective manner. So our interest in management is widespread as far as the need for society to achieve its goals is concerned. So we need to understand what management is, what managers do, the process of management, and be able to look at the different types of managers so that we can have an understanding of what the subject that we are talking about. So what is management then? Management can be seen as the process of establishing goals of the organization, mobilizing the resources of the organization, finding the ways in which the work will be done in the organization, and getting things done with the help of people, who support the management. But of course, this must be seen from the different perspectives. If you have a small shop, you have one manager, you have one person, does all things. So there's no point of working through others. But as organizations grow, as organizations get more and more people, working through others becomes important. So there are various authors who have defined management, who we need to be able to look at and understand what do they mean by this. And of course, one of the most important definitions that we have is from Peter Drucker, the legendary management guru, who said management is a process of getting things done through other people. Drucker's definition is very close to that of Mary Parker Follett, who said management is the art of getting things done through people. These two things are really talking about getting things. One is an art, one is looks at it as a process, and a process is really a scientific way of doing things. We have a very interesting definition by Henry Bottinger, who says management is an imposition of order on chaos. Management is an imposition of order on chaos, meaning when there are things which are, chaotic, what management does is comes and puts systems in place. So management becomes a process of the way in which things are done. And indeed, it is a process, and it's not yet a science, but it's tending towards that when you see what is happening around us. So management is indeed a process, and there have been many other definitions of management. Actually, we say whenever there is a concept related to management, that there are as many definitions as the author of the subjects. So many people, including myself, have had their own definitions of management, but they don't go away from that basic thing of getting things done, a process of getting things done, either by you, the person, or through other people. So that's very important to be able to appreciate what management is. Now, when you go out to synthesize the issues, you see that what do managers do actually? Managers work with people, of course, subject to what I've said. You may have a small shop where you don't have others, but still you go and work with other people, suppliers. Managers take decisions in organizations. To be able to make the organization work, you need to take decisions. Managers are accountable. They do things, they have roles to play, therefore they are accountable. Managers balance competing goals. In the organization, you have to do A, B, C, D, and to be able to achieve what you want to achieve, you must be able to set priorities and balance the competing goals. Managers become channels of communication. They themselves communicate, and they also receive information from other people, and they pass it on. Managers are politicians. Well, in the management literature, we say that politicians are people who tell you things and they actually know they are not true, but they tell you that they are true. And managers are seen as also diplomats. Diplomats are the relatives of politicians who tell you to go to hell and you enjoy it. So managers play all those different roles. And what has happened is that when you look at management as a process, we say management involves the following things. One is planning, which is simply looking ahead and ascertaining what you need to do, mobilizing resources, organizing, which is ascertaining the work to be done once you've planned it, and distributing it to people. Number 3 is the staffing function, identifying the right people to do the work and motivating them sufficiently, leading the people, directing them to work, inspiring them so that they can actually do the work, motivating them, which is creating an atmosphere in which employees can perform their work willingly, the ability to communicate, transmitting message from different parts of the organization, and control. Control is looking back. When you plan, you look ahead. Control is looking back to see, did I do what I said I was going to do? So managers are important because they enable us to achieve goals. They enable us to improve efficiency. They drive innovation. They drive activities in the organization. And as we conclude, we have different types of managers. We can look at them by level, where we have top, middle, and lower level management, or by function, where we look at the functional managers and the general manager. The important one is look at it from the level point perspective, that you have top managers, usually very few middle level managers who have that burden of dealing with the superiors and the subordinates, and the lower level managers. So literally everybody in the organization is a manager because they perform certain acts to enable the organization achieve its goals.